Hey guys, it's Morgan coming to you with another tech video. Today we're working on a shock, a PDS shock of my own, but it's not, I'm not showing you how to do seals or that kind of stuff. We are today going to show you how to replace the shock body and why you might have to replace the shock body. It's my own shock, my own mistake that I made that has caused me to have to replace it, and I hope that I can help you guys avoid this in the future. Well, that's disgusting, and that is why we're replacing the shock body, and I'm going to show you why that's happening. So yeah, when I first had this shock done by Brady at TBT, before we were a TBT shop, he set the shock up. It was brilliant. Rode it, probably rode too far, probably for almost 100 hours honestly before I was going to service it. And I went to service it, and let me show you what I found if I can with this camera. It's going to be a little bit tough, but I think I can show you. So there we go. I think you can kind of see that. God, it's hard to see. There we go. See that ring right there? Part way down? Yeah, that's bare aluminum with no hard anodizing. That is from me having this screwed down and then over tightening this little aluminum band that helps hold this in place. That's completely and totally my fault. I take 100% responsibility, but it is one reason I don't love this style of adjuster. Like the old school style that have the two locking rings, they'll never do that because you lock the one ring to the other, you tighten it against the other one and you're good. But this one, it's real easy to tighten this down, and since this is plastic, it will squeeze it, and that creates a narrow spot in the shock body that then will wear out and cause that amount of aluminum to be coming out of this shock after a very short time. I think I only have maybe 20-30 hours on this oil, and the reason it did that is because when I took it apart the last time, I noticed that the shock body was jacked, but I didn't have one, so I just put it back together just to get through because I was impatient. But now I have a new shock body, so I'm going to show you what we're going to do there. All right, guys, so there we go. I'm going to clean this thing up. I didn't worry too much about cleaning it beforehand because this whole thing's getting replaced. So now I got to spin this off, and we'll clean all this up, and then we'll get a new shock body on it. All right, guys, got everything off and out of the shock body. Got the compression, the high-speed stuff out, everything out of the way, bladder out. Now becomes the fun part. So we have a specific tool that fits this really well, and we'll spin this loose. But I want to show you guys how to do it if you don't have that stuff. First of all, you're going to need a ton of heat here. So we got the blue wrench to do that, and then we have a strap wrench. So this should work. I usually use the right tool, but I think we should be able to get it off with this. So first of all, we're going to start by heating this up really, really hot because I use some really gnarly Loctite for that. Alright guys, that's not going to work. It's too slippery, strap wrench ain't going to work. That's alright. We'll show you another way, maybe avoid having to buy a really expensive tool or take it to a shop. So, got our shock up in here. We're going to tighten this down. It is absolutely going to ruin that shock body, but that's okay because we're replacing it. But we're going to reef down on that. We do have that V-notch to help hold it and give a little more purchase. Got our big Oklahoma socket set here. Come around here. We're going to try to spin her off. You're going to have to keep tightening this down. So guys, as you're doing this, you got to make sure that this isn't sliding around and hitting over here, because then you're fighting against both things. So you want it to be this way because we're twisting it lefty-loosey. And if you have to redo it as it slips and tightens and slips tight, you have to just keep doing that to make sure you're not fighting something that you know, is buttoned up against there. Put a little more heat. There we go. So it's starting to move. Now we can lift this up and get that tank where it's past that. Got to be really careful because literally every piece of this thing is brutally hot right now. That's why I got this towel. There we go. There we go. Now with it, obviously we don't want to crush this, so we're going to be really, really careful. But we are going to take this out, drop it down in there, so we don't forget how that goes. Now I'm going to go cool this off, and I'll show you there. One more thing we got to replace in here is an O-ring. Alright guys, so in here is, or was, this O-ring. Now, this one actually feels pretty good still, but since I got this thing so hot, I don't trust that. So we're going to put a new one in. This one is black. It comes from a different company. That's the only reason it's a different color. But actually first, I'm going to clean this out really well. Alright. Put our new O-ring in. There we go. Now we're going to Loctite this like they did. I'm just chalking this up really lightly in here right now, just barely, just to hold it while I get this started. Instead of reefing on that to get that nice and tight, what we're going to do is we're going to use our strap wrench, and we're going to use the strap wrench to just get it as tight as the strap wrench will go, and that will be fine because we put a ton of Loctite on it, and then we'll get it nice and tight, and that will be just fine. There we go. Clean off the excess Loctite. Clean this thing up. Now it's all shiny and happy. Hard anodizing all the way through. We're not going to have any more problems. Let me see if I can show you this again. Show you just how bad this was. can even see like a ridge. There we go. Yeah. There. There we go. So yeah, guys. Learn a lesson from me and don't over tighten that little pinch pull. All you need to do is just barely snug it. I mean, just barely, and you'll be just fine, no problem. Now I'm going to put it all back together. I'm not going to show you how we bleed it because I've already shown that on lots of other videos. If you haven't seen those, make sure you check that out. You can just search here in the top up on YouTube, Highland Cycles KTM shock or PDS shock or whatever. It'll show you how we bleed them. So anyway, thanks guys. I hope you liked that. Let me know in the comments if that helped you or if it scared you away from ever doing it, or if you had a shop do that, or maybe you made the same mistake I did and had to do that. So anyway, see you guys on the next one.